Welcome to Module 5. In this module we're going to look at analyzing our data. We basically have two places where we can do this, within Pinterest and within Tailwind. And in this first video I'm going to look at how we analyze data within Pinterest. And first of all, of course, why do we even analyze data? This is very important to see what works, to see if you're growing, to see what you should do more and what you should not do. See the engagement, track your growth, and of course this is very useful for advertising as well. Now, what do we look at when we are analyzing our data? Especially for organic, we're really looking at the engagement, the link clicks, the amount of times that people save our pins, also compared to the amount of times people even get to see your pins. The playtime of your videos, so do people immediately continue scrolling when they see your videos, or do they keep watching your videos? And of course, what are popular boards and pins, so that we can do more of that. Now let me open Pinterest and go to Analytics and Overview, and just let me guide you through what we all can look at. I suggest you keep track of the most important KPIs that you want to keep track of to make sure that you're growing exponentially. And first, what we can do here is set the date range, so to last 7 days, for example. And here we can see all different kind of statistics showing us the impressions over the last 7 days, the engagements, pin clicks, so how many people clicked your pin, how many people clicked to your website from your pin, and many more things that we can keep track of. Now here on the left you can select what pins you want to analyze. So the content type here, as it says, see stats about different types of content created by you or others on Pinterest. And this is the organic and paid, so you can keep track of both. Claimed accounts, so here all the claimed accounts show up. Right now we only have verified our domain, but you can also claim your Instagram account, your YouTube account, and then you can select which pins you'd like to see in here. Device speaks for itself, people that used mobile, desktop, tablet. The source, your pins or other pins from someone else to your domain, for example. The format, standard pins, rich pins, video pins, and story pins are not available in most countries yet, but these are same as with Instagram stories, just stories. And here we can also select the pins that we saved from other people, but we never really use this because of course we want to analyze the pins that we created. And here when you scroll down you can see the best performing boards as well, and your top pins, and of course you can select what they perform best in. And then when we go here we can go to conversion insights and video, which is the same as when you click here. So let's check this out. Now our Pinterest tag is not set up at the moment, but of course make sure that you do this first. And this is really handy to see the difference between the paid sales and the organic sales, which is very interesting to see how much of your sales are actually from organic sales, and basically means that you didn't have to pay for them. And a couple other things that you can see here: performance of checkouts, the amount of people that bought from you, saves, pin clicks, same as with the previous tab. And here what we can see are the top converting pins, which are of course also great because we want to know what pins work best, both for advertising but also for organic growth. And that's something that you can see here, which is great. I always suggest you put this on 111 unless you're only using Pinterest as advertising platform or as your main or only traffic stream. Then you can set this to 30, 30, 30 as well, for example. And the difference basically means that here, if for example you show an ad to someone or you show a pin to someone and they don't buy anything from you, but a week later they see your ad on Facebook and they buy from you, and then if you set this to 777, it's also gonna show up here. The conversion is tracked no matter what you set this on, but the question is, do you want to see it in here? Because you don't want to see the same conversion both in Pinterest and Facebook, because then it's tracked on two platforms, but there was only one sale, and that way the data isn't right. So if you're using multiple platforms, always set this to 111. And then we also have video, also a great place to see how your videos are performing. Here again you can select the data points that we discussed in the overview tab, and what we can do here again, see the top pins and see the average play time, but also pins that played up to 95%. And this is a great way to see what type of content is performing best, especially if you're running a brand. This is really useful, combined with the conversion insights, so then you can compare the top pins with the ones that people are watching the longest, and that way you can really focus on creating more of that type of content to make sure that you create the best ads and pins as possible. Then finally, one more thing that I want to show you guys is the audience insights. Now, as you can see, we don't have enough data because obviously this page is not active, but normally what this would look like is something like this, and here you can see how much % of the audience of this interest is interested in your product. So in this case, 70% of the people in home decor would be interested in our product, and when you go here to actually see your own audience, then it also shows an affinity, and if that affinity is above 1, it shows a number from 0 to 2 or maybe 3, I don't know. But if it's above 1, that means that the affinity with your brand or your product is decent. And if, for example, here you can see the sub interest as well, but if you have a high percentage here, which means there are a lot of people in that interest that could be interested in your product, and the affinity is above 1, which means there's affinity with your brand and product, then it's worth testing that interest. So that's really great, especially if you're advertising, of course. And here you can also see age, gender, device, the basic data points to make sure that you're targeting the right audience. And here you can also compare the two. So it's very, the analytics within Pinterest is already very useful. And in the next video, I'm going to show a couple more things that we cannot see in Pinterest that we can see in Tailwind, which is also very useful. But make sure, especially if you're running a brand, that you use these analytics, these data points, to really optimize the performance of your brand, of your products, of your pins, to really get the most out of it.